Welcome to MeditatorZone.com. I'm Craig Kimbrough, and today I'm here to talk to you about heaven here and now. And I just wanted to give an example about moving into the experience of heaven here and now, regardless of what's going on at the moment, and how it is definitely possible. At one particular time in my life, I was going through a very tough situation. Self-employed, own my own business. Business had been going good for years. Had enough customers to handle everything, take care of my family and so forth. In this particular year, everything was different. All of a sudden, I didn't have enough people calling. I didn't have enough work. And I was beginning to wonder, was I going out of business? How was I going to make it? I realized that opportunity is always hidden wherever you are. Another way of putting it is we're in heaven at the moment, whether we realize it or not. So I decided I didn't have the answer as to how to move into the experience of it. So I put the question out there to God. God, how do I do it? I put the question out to the universe. I need an answer. What's my next move? Can you tell me within the next 24 hours? And I also meditated and did a lot of other things in order to help my being able to catch the answer when it came. Well, the next day, I was going out to work. This particular day, I didn't have the crew with me. I was by myself. And I had a shorter work day. I had an appointment in midday, an important lunch engagement. So I took half the day off. I only had a few homes scheduled to do the work that was supposed to be done. So I went ahead and went out to work. Well, I was finished all of them except for the last job. I decided to stop by the bank. Now, the bank I went to was a bank that a lot of small business owners had accounts at. And I heard a small business owner talking to another, and he was saying, yeah, I'm just about done for the day. I go out and I do a few jobs, and then I stop my day. I'm usually done by this time. It was 11 o'clock in the morning. And then I do whatever I want with the rest of my day. So I'm listening to the guy. And as I started to notice that I thought I recognized his voice. It was this guy I hadn't seen in about 10 years. He had we actually had met, and I would talk to him from time to time. Well, I stopped him and I talked to him, and he said the same thing to me. I'm done with my day. And he asked me, was I still in the, this time I was in the gutter cleaning business. You still do gutter cleaning? I said, yes. So you still do windows also? I said, he has sort of helped give me pointers on windows. I said, yeah, I sure do. And he went on to talk about how he was done with his day and so forth. Well, shortly after that, we parted ways. I went about my business, still had one more job to do. I was headed to this job, and I said, well, yeah, I'll be done by 12 o'clock. And I'll be like Alan. I'll be done for my day. Half a day. Went out, made some decent money, and now I'm done. Now I get to do what I want with the rest of the day, which was actually, I was going to an enjoyable luncheon and having a good time. So I asked myself, I said, man, how is it that he can do this every day and I can't? And then all of a sudden it dawned on me. I said, well, he doesn't have secretaries. I had two at the time. He doesn't have office space. He doesn't have people working for him. And I said, oh my God. I said, I see now. I have to downsize. And immediately everything looked different. The whole landscape and scenery looked different. I mean, everything was brighter, literally. It was luminous. I could barely feel my body. And I said, oh my goodness, this is the answer I was looking for. Well, after that, it still took me some time to move into it. And I found myself doing all the different meditational exercises and metaphysical approaches to the world to make sure that this was the right move. Because I had a lot of reasons why I didn't want to do this. As a matter of fact, this was the last thing I wanted to do was downsize. And I definitely didn't want to give up my office space. My office space, that's what gave me my prestige. That's maybe more than just a simple gutter cleaner. I'd be able to say, well, no, I have an office on Southfield Road, and I have secretaries and this and that and the other. I'm a business owner. And so this was something that gave me some of my self-worth, I hate to admit. And in addition to this, I actually had my meditation classes out of this same building. And I had it all set up perfectly for it. I had bookshelves all around the room with all these books on metaphysics, and it was in a very nice location. And a location where people could come from all sides of town to meet quite easily. Didn't want to give all that up. But with a lot of soul searching, I did. And when I did, it turned out to be the best thing for me. Incidentally, right before I did, things got better, so it made the choice even tougher. I could have actually held on to all of that, but I let it go. And as I said, it turned out to be the best thing. I had more time for my kids. I used to work until 6, 7 o'clock in the evenings. I was done by 1 o'clock every day, except for during our peak season, which was maybe a month and a half period. Other than that, I was done by 1 o'clock every day. Had more time for my kids. I had more time for writing, more time for meditation, more time for teaching meditation. Made life much more wonderful. And I would not have moved into this whole different way of life if I hadn't gone through a difficult situation that I had to make heavenly. I had to see heaven within the situation. And I've had situation after situation in my life where I've had to do this. And I have found that heaven is right here, right now, when I can embrace it. And that's part of what this meditative path is about. And part of what these metaphysical approaches to the world are about, that we actually practice with the Enlightenment program. And I mean, it takes constant practice, constant reinforcement, constant reminders. But when you move into this way of life, it becomes easier and easier to be able to do it in the various situations in our world. I'd like to thank you for listening. Until next time, enjoy.